Sorry it took so long.
Hey, that's okay. What's up? Whoa, boy. What's happening?
This computer. I mean, it's also I was logged out of my Adobe account, so I couldn't record. But this computer, as you know, was a new computer, but it's always sucked. And I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. Like why
You got a lemon.
I don't know why I buy something that costs a lot of money, and then when it's not working, it's like it's not really worth my time to go go get it fixed or go get a new one.
Yeah, but it definitely is. And now you're kind of missed your window.
Yeah, April of 2020. So
Yeah.
it's it is what it
Bye-bye.
is.
You fucked up.
Takes 10 minutes to start Adobe Audition and then start the Google Meet. Slowly loads.
10 minutes?
When I do the radio show, I don't even pull up the news stories on the computer. I pull them up on my laptop and then use
Does it take too long?
And it slows down. The processing gets jammed up.
It's horrible.
But these are simple executions. It's not like I'm trying to edit 4K video.
Yeah, why is it like that?
It's just a piece of junk.
But why? What happened?
I don't know.
So weird.
It is just a junky computer.
Just a junky junk.
It probably would have been replaced if I'd taken the time, but I didn't.
Yeah, you fucked up. You really fucked up now. I'm really sore.
Yes, Pixie.
Yes, Pixie.
Oh, what is this leading into a workout story? Are you... Let's see.
No, I just am very sore today.
Let's see
don't know
what
why.
my cousin posted about the workout.
Is that what she does too?
It's just absolutely ridiculous what she posted.
Really?
How can
What'd
I
she
find
say?
her? There she is. So it's a picture of her and some other women, and it's 3 photos. So you can scroll through the different photos of them at the gym.
Okay.
Love the shit out of these real, genuine, strong women. Heart emoji, always pushing each other towards greatness. Is that what's happening at the gym? You're pushing each other towards greatness? Maybe you're just working out. I think you're just working out.
No, I don't. Personally, I don't feel any like, oh, me and my girls. It's like, oh, we're just all together. And someone gives you a pointer, like, oh, you need to not arch your back like that, or like put your back, like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. I'm not like, wow, girl, yes, queen, sisterhood.
Even if you were going to post it, which I don't believe you should be posting anything while you're working out. People have been working out for a very long time without making a big deal about it, but I feel as though if you are going to post that, it should just be, here are my workout friends. The end.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Pushing each other towards greatness.
Strange. I don't get it. I don't get a lot of like things like that though.
Like what?
Like me and my girls, like, you know, like, oh, okay, that, or inspirational things, like, you're my sister and you'll never walk alone, even if we don't see each other, we're still like, is that, why do women need that? Or why are we sold that we need that? Why did someone think that that's what we needed, and then we all decided that is what we needed because advertising tricked us? Me and my girlfriend sit around with them and do face masks. Oh, we're so cute.
It's hitting on something. I mean, all those motivational things, they're hitting on basic human desires to achieve and stand out and not feel as though their life has been wasted. And, it takes it to the extreme, and it bottles it and packages it so it's easily digestible. And someone says, yes, that is it. I understand exactly. But, whatever. At the end of the day, achieving greatness. Is it that wonderful? What do you do when you achieve the greatness? You have nowhere else to go.
Yeah, that's a big thing for like athletes, when they've sort of plateaued out and there's no further that they can go, then they stop doing sports, and then they gain a bunch of weight, and then they, work at a small car lot.
Unless you're Brett Favre. He was ready. He was ready to retire and just start drinking beer every single day.
Oh, really?
And eating Johnsonville sausages, I'm sure.
Is that what he does?
I don't know if I don't think there's any official tie. Brett Favre seems like the kind of guy who's like, I don't know. How'd you get to the NFL? I don't know. He's just a dude who happened to be able to throw a football and somehow didn't put in much work. Got to the NFL, was pretty good. Didn't take care of his body, didn't care. I mean, he cared, but less so than someone like Tom Brady, who is psychotic about. Maybe he is scared about what happens when it's all over. So he's just drinking.
That's what he controls.
He drinks his meals. He doesn't eat solid foods. He drinks all his meals.
Is he really? Is that true?
Yeah, I think he spends hundreds of thousands of dollars a year just on someone to create these specialized meals for him to keep his body in top peak performance shape.
Don't you feel like that's just another form of an eating disorder? Why do people have eating disorders? Typically, it's because of like a control thing. They're out of control, and this is the only thing that they can control.
No, I don't think it's an eating disorder. I think the body naturally breaks down over time. Someone who's 45 years old shouldn't still be playing in the NFL. Something's working. He wants to continue to play. So he's taking the steps necessary to be in the shape that he needs to be in to continue to play.
But it just seems like a lot of other people can do well in the NFL and not have to be so rigid with their diet.
Nobody's 45 years old playing in the NFL.
No.
That's what's going on.
Oh, okay.
He got old, except he doesn't look old, and he
doesn't.
He still plays, better than most people. An alien, a fucking alien.
Yeah, maybe he is. Are there any videos online of him where he blinks and then the lizard eyes blink inside?
I'm sure somebody has created one of those videos.
See the video of Brett Favre. His lizard eyes reveal themselves in an interview that was deleted off the internet March 21st, 2019.
I love that guy. I want to find that dude. Why does he talk like that? Why did he decide that that's the way he was going to sound?
I don't know who this guy is.
He's it's I don't know what channel it's on, but it's just these random videos that you come across on YouTube where it's like,
the deepest hole in the earth resides in the city of something Russia. People have attempted to drop things down and they never return.
It's just like that.
Yeah, it's funny how
when dinosaurs roam the earth.
How standards get set.
Yeah.
Somebody does it, it's popular, then other people mimic it. It's the whole NPR thing and the way that the people present on NPR. Or it's the whole Morning Zoo radio show, which you're a part of. The way little quips and one-liners are thrown in, and there's nonstop laughing. It's they all ultimately sound the same. If you just listen to them, not for the words that were being said or the level of the content, the quality of the content. If you just listen to it, it's like, oh yeah, that's a style, that's a thing.
No, sometimes I get like paranoid or like something about our show, not this show, but the radio show, and I'm like, oof, there's a lot of laughing.
Oh, it's zooey. It's totally zooish.
Real zooey.
There's the ramp up of the sound effects and the sound bites.
Jared has been playing more sound effects lately.
The fact I think the other day there was a toilet.
Toilet flushing.
Yeah, okay. You've jumped the shark.
It kept happening. I was just like, oh my God, stop playing that sound effect.
You've jumped the shark. You have a toilet flushing sound effect on the Von Hessler doctrine. You know how it should be treated? Not like a sitcom, but as sitcoms evolved and they became the single camera, no live studio audience, no laugh track type of show. Let the comedy live on its own and the audience can laugh when they want to laugh. You don't need the cue of everyone laughing at once.
Yeah. That toilet flushing.
That's why I don't laugh. I rarely laugh when I'm on the show. And it's not because...
There's some things that really get me and I laugh legitimately.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, to hold back, I think, is a little ridiculous. There's allowed to be reactions. It is a conversation. So there's things that catch you off guard.
Right.
So to laugh to them. But, I think there's this idea that I don't think things are funny, so I don't laugh. It's hard to get me to laugh anyway. But part of it is you don't need another laughing voice on that show.
No. God bless him. Like, I think that Jared didn't grow up with that trope. You know, like it wasn't ingrained in him as much as I think it was for us. Like it was part of, there was something about that morning zooey, like, blah, 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 you know, like all of that was more of something for us. And I don't think that Jared experienced it as much and therefore doesn't totally recognize it when it's happening in real time on accident.
You can't just blame him. There are people who could say, hey, no more fucking toilets flushing.
Well, he did. Like eventually Eric was like, all right, enough with that. It's a little crazy.
And toilet flushing.
And I'm not blaming Jared. I'm just saying that I think that that's where he comes from. I don't think he realizes.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to go after Jared. I was talking about the show in general.
I'm sorry. I wasn't going after Jared.
You were going after Jared. I'm going to send this to him.
Okay. No.
It's going to break his boy. It's going to break his heart.
His sweet little Bolivian heart.
Huh?
He's Bolivian. And Japanese.
Oh, okay.
Mostly Bolivian. Look at him.
No, he's mostly white, bro.
Absolutely.
Mostly white, bro.
White, bro.
So, the topic today is really end of civilizations.
We don't have to talk about that. It's just been on my mind, I guess.
Oh, look at this. Flight right. My case number 2287809 processing suspended. Unbelievable.
What?
Yeah, there's this thing in the EU that if your flight gets canceled and you get rescheduled to the next day, you're entitled to a refund.
Oh.
Unless it's something like an awful storm, I think. But when I went to London, last time I went to London, which God knows how long ago that was, I was turning 35. So it was 2017, January of 2017.
Uh-huh.
And my flight back was canceled, and I had to stay an extra night.
Oh.
And I put in to get a refund, and it took all these years, and I got a response that said, we're just giving up on your case. You're not going to get your money back. Part of that, though, is, the UK is no longer part of the EU, so I don't know if it even still falls under the same rules that have been set forth.
Interesting.
It was worth a try. It didn't cost me any money.
It's a good try.
They just said, we'll do it. And we keep probably 30, 40% if we get you your money. It's like, yeah, that's fine. Also still waiting on a refund for that Tokyo flight. Oh, we'll get that to you 12 weeks ago. And then I check in. We're just very busy and backlogged. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess they are.
Give me a break. Give me my $2,000.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it. It's on the way. It's a click of a button. What is this?
Promise.
It's a click of a button.
I'm sure it's all kinds of bureaucracy, I'm sure.
I think it's stalling and hoping that you just give up on it, but I'm not going to.
Possibly.
I purposefully didn't. I did that thing again, purposely. Not purposefully. Although I guess I was filled with purpose when I did this. Anyway, yeah. I did the chat instead of a phone call. That way I could record the records of them saying, yes, of course.
Smart.
We're refunding this. And then every time I write them again, I send a screenshot of it.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
That's smart.
I said, look.
You got receipts.
You told me.
Here it is. In writing. In electronic writing.
End of civilizations.
Yeah, what do you think?
What are you thinking of? The fall of the Ottoman Empire?
I mean, listen, maybe you have more knowledge historically.
I don't have much knowledge on the fall of empires.
Should we start?
Well, is that, yes. All right, we'll just officially start. I have a feeling.
If it doesn't work out, then we can just do something else.
What's going on?
Drinking didn't help us.
Boozing.
Really swore.
A cry for help.
Huh?
Nothing.
Oh.
Introduce the show.
Oh. Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. You didn't count down, so I didn't know when to start. My name is Autumn Fisher.
My name is Greg Russ. I've made an executive decision that this show will be our annual Free for Fall. I think usually those have usually come first week in November, and it's early in October. But so be it. So be it. It's officially fall, and once a year, we just go completely off the rails and talk about whatever comes to mind. And
why not?
You talking about being sore. I've worked out so much and boozed so much. And then I said a cry for help. I had, I'm going to tell you this. It's going to catch you off guard. I have a friend who has listened to the podcast quite a bit and knows our history and asked me, after we broke up, what was going on. And I said, I don't know. I wasn't following your Instagram at that point. And he said, I don't know. It was pretty rough. It seemed like a cry for help around that time. I don't know what you were posting. Maybe it was stories. Were you posting stories? Were you posting pictures?
Cry for help.
Yeah. He said, it seemed like a real cry for help. I don't know if there was a lot of boozing pictures.
No, I don't think so. I don't really take a lot of boozing pictures.
I don't know what it was or where it came from, and I didn't ask more questions, and maybe I should
on Instagram?
have. Yeah, I think it was Instagram.
No.
I mean, this is going back now a while. But,
who said that?
But this came up when we were sitting and having a conversation, catching up at a diner. He also proceeded to tell me that, he's jerked off in the car while he's driving on the highway many times.
Oh, you told me who this person was.
So anyway, it was brought to my attention, and I was worried. It seemed like there was a cry going on, a plea.
I don't think so. But listen, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I was in the best place these last 2 years. Fuck. But to me, maybe being in a good place wasn't real. Do you know what I mean? Like I was the way that people actually live is a little bit more not so tumultuous that your life is a mess, but just more of an issue than it ever has been for me.
I'd challenge you and say, were you ever actually in a good place? Ever?
Well, I felt.
You don't have to answer that.
Well, you asked me, so I'm answering.
Rhetorical.
It's not rhetorical. I can answer it.
Okay. If you'd like to answer, I'll give you the floor to answer.
I felt like I was in a good place. Maybe I actually wasn't, but I felt good. But I don't think I knew what feeling good was really supposed to feel like, So it wasn't an earned feel good. It was just like, things are good.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Stable. Not much rocking the boat, so not much concern, and therefore things are good by default.
It's great that you said that, because I told my therapist early on, it's like, things are fine. Like, that's fine. It's fine. And she was like, yeah, but do you want things to be just fine? Like, are you okay with fine? She lived a life. Her life was fine. Like, she said, she's dead. Yeah, her life was fine. Is that what you...
Fine. I was like... Yeah, fine is my adjective. You're trying to steal my life. I told you I registered the domain itwasfine.com.
Oh, yeah. Are you writing?
No. I don't know if I'll ever write.
God, I wish you would.
It's a dream. It's something I hold on to. Up. It's a thing that, it's always on the horizon. It's like, hey, one day I'll do that. And those will be nice times in my life. So I just hold on to it. And I would post it. I was fine. I think It Was Fine would have been better, but that one was taken. So I had to settle for It Was Fine. I think I could have gotten itisfine.net or some trash.
No, I hate that.
But yes, I need the prestige of the .com. So I had to settle for itwasfine.com. But it's also fitting because people ask me how things are going. It's like, it's fine. It was fine. How was that?
Yep.
How was your day? It was fine. So
it's a bummer to me.
Well, it's just I don't feel the need sometimes to go into details. It's like I could tell you it's boring. It doesn't matter. It's like it's just
but you could say it was good.
It was fine. There was nothing. Good is a different level. Having a day that was good, meaning nothing bad happened, to me was fine.
To me, that's good.
No, that was fine. It was like nothing out of the ordinary. It was fine. It was a day. It was a normal day. Things played out the way they usually play out. It was fine.
Interesting. So that goes back to what I was saying, how I was living my life, is that like not too many things happening. So like no waves on the water. And that's good. That was good. It was good. I didn't have to deal with anything at all. And now when I'm dealing with just actual real life and my actual feelings and my actual thoughts, and my actions based on those things.
You can't handle it and you turn to booze.
I mean,
give me the Patron.
Not Patron. Espelon.
Yes.
I really should stop drinking though, for real.
I thought you cut back on the drinking.
I know, but now I kind of like,
You're back.
Well, I just got drunk last night.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not judging that overall. I was using it as a catapult into the bigger conversation. I drank when I went to Kingston, New York. I found the old man bar. I went up there. The week I took off just to get away. Kingston is about 2 hours north of New York City. It's on the Hudson, I would say. It's a little set off of the Hudson River. Like where I was staying, you can't see the Hudson, but it's not far away. And so it's in the Hudson Valley. It's a nice town. I think it's, being rejuvenated like many things. It's interesting for being a small town. There are still very distinct neighborhoods you drive through and like, oh, these houses are falling apart and have boards on the windows. And then there's sections that are nice. But I found the bar, as I'm apt to do, there's the nice new tavern and the places that don't really appeal to me, but that have most people going into them. I found the old man bar where people are more than likely drunk by noon. I went in at 5:30 in the afternoon, and there were certainly many people already shit-faced.
Really?
Yeah, but they all know each other.
Right.
So they know the bartender. You can tell that they're there every single day of their lives. And if they didn't show up, even though you should be worried about their state of mind because they're going there and getting drunk every day, you don't worry because you see them, so you know they're alive. It's the kind of place where if they didn't show up, you would think, uh-oh, what's wrong?
Right. Okay. There's a guy here that I see every time. Well, two places that I go, and I see the dude every time I'm there.
Yeah, there's always that person, and the bar is exactly what you think it would be. The stench of stale booze and urinal cakes and cleaning products and smoke from God knows how long ago when you could still smoke inside. It seeped its way into the wood walls. And it's my kind of place.
So romantic. You really are talking about it in this like romantic way.
There's this bar of broken dreams because there were so many conversations of people talking about how they were going to leave Kingston and the reasons they just couldn't do it. Or, it's like my writing. I mentioned I'm going to write. In their minds on the horizon, it's still the leaving. I'm going to leave Kingston. It's going to happen. It's just not this year, but probably next year. I'm getting out of here. And they probably won't get out of there. So I forget what the original point of telling you this was. Oh, the drinking. That was the last time I drank that night. And I only had 3 beers. And then I went to the same pizza place I had been going every night I was in Kingston, because that's what I do. I find one place I like. And instead of branching out and exploring, it's like being out of my comfort zone and in a new place. That's exploration enough. So finding.
Right. And then to get pizza.
Well, one night I got spaghetti and meatballs. I got a meatball hero. It switched. There's always meatballs involved, but I switched it up.
So no pizza, but constant meatballs.
And a root beer, an A&W root beer in a bottle.
W.
That's the proper way. W. I hate when people say W.
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 You need to enunciate that.
So, I think that L is tough because it's so gentle in there. W.
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 W. WWWB.
So the 3 beers, I felt that the whole next day.
Did you?
I have not been drinking much at all. It's kind of faded away. The appeal currently, sometimes you have a day, and even if you don't have a day, I don't mean this by like you had a stressful day. Certainly that's a thing. You have a stressful day and you think, I want to drink to take the edge off. But I just mean you have a day where this feeling hits you. Like, I could really use a drink. And I do not have those anymore. They do not seem to pop up.
That's cool. I kind of would like to not drink. And the fact that I feel like I don't think I could makes me think then I definitely should.
You really
I mean,
feel
it's not affecting I'm not, I'm not getting drunk during the week anymore. Sometimes. Okay, maybe sometimes. Shit. See, I think I have a problem.
well, you have weeks on with the kids and weeks off, and you don't have the kids. I think you're
Yeah,
just
I do
bored.
feel like, wow,
You're bored,
what's going on?
and you don't like being alone, and so
Yeah.
it's a nice escape.
But I mean, part of what I do need, which is for me a need, is interaction, connection. And a lot of that seems to revolve around going out, Like, all right, well, what are we going to do? All right, well, let's go here and drink.
You just go
And
sit
laugh and
somewhere.
talk and all that's there. But it's still the centerpiece is always drinking.
I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. Just what do people do, even here in New York, when they go out at night?
Mm-hmm.
You could go possibly to, see a play or a Broadway show, a musical, but this isn't something you do all the time. I guess you could go to a sporting event, but these are still bigger things. You need more money for them, a little more planning.
Yeah.
You could go to a movie that's more impromptu, but for the most part, it's going to restaurants and it's drinking. That's it. That's what exists.
I know. But like going to a movie or going to a sports event or whatever is not really a time of connection. It's a time to go do something together, but it's not. I'd rather sit and have someone across from me and we laugh and talk.
I think that going to a movie can be great connection. You go, you watch the same thing, and if it's a decent movie, it gets you thinking about things, and then you have a conversation afterwards.
Yeah.
You compare
but you're
notes.
just standing somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
But then what do you do? It's like, hey, do you want to keep talking? Yeah. All right, let's go to this restaurant and have a drink.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. I just feel like I said, I don't know. There are other things to do. I'm sure people don't drink. But to me, the fact that I can't figure out or I can't wrap my head around a scenario where I'm having a time with a person and it doesn't involve drinking, like to me, that says you need to switch your mind up and maybe take a break.
That can be a bit problematic, certainly, if you feel as though you can't have that without drinking. I know the appeal. There's been many times in my life where I've drank way too much, mostly because I'm enjoying the night. You're out, you're having conversations, hanging out with people. And
that's what I do. I'm not trying to. I mean, sometimes I am sad, but not typically.
You think I don't want this to end, so let's let's have another one. Let's keep this going. And that's nice. And, it's the same appeal to me if you could smoke indoors still. And if I still smoke cigarettes, it's been a very long time since I had a cigarette. But I feel as though I could get the same thing sitting in a diner with a cup of coffee and a cigarette. You could have the same kind of conversation. I know the alcohol loosening you up is a little more fun, but
yeah,
there's something, the environment is important. And I guess a vice, for some reason, attached to it adds to the experience.
Yeah, because even, the cigarettes and even just the coffee, if you think about it. I mean, technically.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, but it does seem weird to just have a coffee with someone.
I don't think that's weird. I've done it many times, but then I've treated coffee like alcohol. I'm going to get another one, especially if you are in a diner where they just refill it and it's not an additional purchase every time. I've had made way too many coffees and you leave very jittery. Like, too much. But I enjoyed the conversation. There's the act of doing something. Yeah,
you got to keep your hands busy.
But that's the thing. It's not necessarily needed.
Not.
So
why is it such a thing? Why is it so common for everyone?
Well, think about the nightlife. If you took away alcohol again, obviously, speakeasies and illegal outlets will pop up. But if it weren't as widespread, what would people do? Would there be as many people out on weekends? I mean, I guess part of, especially being young, you can dance. People like dancing, but usually you get drunk because it loosens you up and then you dance or you do some other drug. But, it's usually altering your state of mind, having fun in some way, which, I guess dancing could fall into, and possibly hooking up. That's all. That's the ultimate thing.
Yeah.
It's all the sensory experience. And I guess you could go to one of those movie theaters where if you want a sensory experience, where they spray you with mist you with water and the seats shake.
Or those
one of those RPX. I think you have any of those RPX theaters?
Is that supposed to be like 4D?
Yeah, I think that's.
Like you're watching something and something sprays on you because there's something wet happening in the movie.
I have never gone to one of those, and I refuse.
Oh, I did in Disney World. There was a Muppets thing.
Yeah, see, it's a little different. And they were
blowing, and like Fozzie Bear blew bubbles, and they were 3D bubbles, but then they were actually real bubbles.
That's a little different because it's at an amusement park, so I feel as though it's a hybrid ride / movie.
Yeah.
Just a regular movie theater, like a movie that's been made to watch as a movie. It exists, and then they create an alternate version for RPX. This new James Bond that's come out. I think. Oh,
I heard it was sad.
Is it sad? It's his last film. It would be.
If it's sad, I think that's so stupid.
It's Daniel Craig's last film. Why is that stupid? I've never been a Bond fan. Like I've seen, for whatever reason, this Daniel Craig series of Bond films. I've seen them all. I don't think I've seen one in the theater though, but I've ended up.
I think I saw one.
I've ended up watching them, and I enjoy them. And the scene where he gets his balls slapped with the chair that's been, the bottom's been cut out, his balls are just hanging.
Are they really?
I mean, they don't.
Can you see them?
They don't show it, but yeah, there's. I don't know if that's Casino Royale or what, but they get him and he's hostage, and they have one of those chairs where the seat's like wicker or something.
Yeah.
And they rip that part out, so there's still kind of a frame around it, so you can he's sit in it, but they strip him naked. And that way his balls are dangling down, and when he doesn't answer questions, they whip him. They hit his balls.
Why is that in a James Bond movie?
It's torture.
No, that's not what...
It's balls of steel. They're showing that he has balls of steel. He's James Bond.
Oh, yeah,
God's
he didn't
sake.
flinch. He just lit up a cigarette and asked for a martini. Like, no big deal.
So
that's the thing. Like, he almost is not like a superhero, but almost like Indiana Jones. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't about
Indiana Jones.
There was a character that needs to be there, and when you put Daniel Craig there, and you're thinking about his feelings and how he's sad or how his balls are getting tortured, that's not fun. James Bond movies are supposed to be fun. He's supposed to be like pretty horrible to women, but the women all love him for it. He gets out of situations. He's classy. Like, those things I think should always be there. But instead, Daniel Craig had to come in. I don't know if it's his fault, but it seems like all the movies he's been in have been like deep dives into a dark past.
Oh, I've enjoyed them more. I've enjoyed these more. But then again, I've never been that invested. And there was the unfortunate Pierce Brosnan phase where he surfed the tidal wave on the door of his car.
Okay, but even though that's so dumb, and I know that it's widely like the worst James Bond movie, that's what people feel, but I feel like at least it was trying to be fun. It was almost like a caricature of itself.
Yeah, I don't know if they did that on purpose, though.
Right.
I think it was just a side effect. I was like, oh, this comes off as a caricature. What you're saying, I'm sure there are plenty of people who agree with you, and probably more people agree with you than me, because again, I'm not a James Bond fan. I've never been opposed to it. I've never been drawn to it either.
Right. Yeah.
And I know that it's getting played out, the exploration of the psyche, but if there is someone like James Bond, it's like, what the fuck is up with that person? Who would put themselves in these situations? It was the thing with Batman was, wow, what a fucked up dude. And now we're getting to the point where all the superheroes have some kind of exploration into their psyche that's happening, and it's getting played out. Or the villain, it's like there wasn't just a straight up bad guy who was inherently evil, and that person was just awful, and we don't know why. It's the sympathetic villain now, and there's motivations, and these are the reasons, and we're moving through that. I think it's coming back around where we soon will just get things straight up presented to you.
Well, what I appreciated about the Batman with Heath Ledger was that they did kind of act like he was like that we were getting a background in his past, because he asks, he tells people how he got those scars, and then but the story changes all the time. So you don't really know what happened to him. And I appreciated that in those movies. It was fun to have a villain that was like tricky and interesting, but again, not like, oh, I have to feel sympathy for this guy.
Yeah, I mean, that was...
Whereas Joker, that was about that, and that's okay. You know what I mean? It's not, but in the world of an already established sort of feeling, I don't like when they try and go in the past and make you all sad and make you feel bad for the person, even if it's the protagonist. I don't care.
Well, it was an interesting thing, I feel, as though, to study for a bit, and then it's become the way that these things are executed, and so now it's played out. People are tired of it.
They're gonna remake stuff. They're gonna be like,
I'll tell you,
remake everything.
I'll tell you. I went to see Venom 2, and another thing, I'm not, I don't care, but I have the Regal Movie Pass also, the unlimited.
Oh,
so
right. So you're doing
I'll
that.
go see things. And Venom 2, I thought was a delight because it's 97 minutes long. It's not drawn out. It just happens, and it's exactly what it needs to be. It's like, this is kind of ridiculous. This whole thing is goofy. Let's just have this happen.
Can you remind me what Venom is?
Venom is the
superhero, like the bad guy with the big tongue and the teeth.
Yeah, so it's
okay.
It's I think there's a complicated history with Venom. It's a symbiote. See, already I'm getting it fucked up. Let me look it up. What the hell is it? Symbiote. Nothing like looking this shit up in the middle of the show. I don't know how to pronounce it is the thing. So then I wish you hadn't asked me what the hell that is. Pronunciation.
Symbiote.
Well, symbiote.
It's an E at the end.
Yeah, here it is.
Symbiote.
Could you hear that there? Symbiote.
Yeah, symbiote.
Yes.
That makes sense because the O and the T-E.
Yeah, I there's people who will downvote you on Reddit if you get something like this wrong. But anyway,
really?
It's like it's part of an alien species that needs to attach to a host. It's not quite like a leech. What are those things called?
Leeches.
No, tapeworms and leeches.
Oh, parasite?
Yeah, it's not quite a parasite. It has to bond with you, and it has its own, consciousness. And anyway, I think just to run through it quickly, at some point, Spider-Man mistook it as the new spider suit, and it bonded with him. And he said, "Oh, cool, new black spider suit." And over time, realized, "Oh no, this is something else. This isn't good." And then, it has different incarnations, but the one that they're presenting now is with Eddie Brock, who was this journalist and has a contentious relationship with Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and he bonds with it, and then they're enemies for a bit, but then, it evolves over time, so Venom becomes this kind of good guy / bad guy type thing. Like, people don't embrace him as being a good guy.
But then in the movie, is he a bad guy?
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, he bites.
Right, you can't talk about it or you'll spoil it.
No, I'm not spoiling it. He just bites the heads off of people. So is that a good guy thing to do? Even if it's the head
bad guy thing to do.
Even if it's the head of a bad guy.
Oh, is he a superhero or a villain?
That's the thing with Venom. It's blurry.
Oh my God, no! In things like that are basically made for children, let's have good versus evil. I don't need the subtlety. I would love to see the subtlety in a different genre.
You're getting too deep into this. The point of this.
No, I'm getting very superficial. I don't want to go deep into it. I want people to be either good or bad.
I know, but
this genre.
You're going too deep into Venom and what these movies were, is what I meant. While it seems like
across the board.
Now, while it seems like a gray area, they're just these goofy movies that happen. It's just like, oh, okay, this is happening, and that's pretty ridiculous, but I don't care because this is fun, and it's not 2.5 hours long.
Which all right, I can get on board with that mindset.
I feel like Venom too, and it's so strange that I'm defending it.
Yeah,
Again,
you really loved it.
I had
It's your favorite movie ever.
Well, it's also I have zero expectations for it. I had zero intent to really see it. It was just, yeah, you want to do this? Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
So watching it through that lens, it was, wow, I think that's exactly what it needed to be. I enjoyed that. And you don't think about it. I said earlier, going to a movie can be a bonding experience and where you have there's a discussion to be had after Venom. It's like, okay, but it was fun.
Okay. If it was fun, that's fun.
Especially in this world where, the movies are being stretched out and everyone's diving deep into the psyche. I remember when Blade Runner 2049 was released and people no one's going to, part of the reason it didn't do well, they said, was because it was 2 hours and 45 minutes long, which maybe is so.
That is long.
That is long. But now every movie's, talk about this new James Bond, it's that length.
It is?
Yeah, it's 2 hours and 30 something minutes.
Everything pisses me off.
Why does that anger you?
Because it's so self-indulgent.
Well,
fucking cut things.
If there's if there's a story to tell and it's worth telling, I'm fine with that. It is difficult to get people to sit for that. I mean, something like James Bond, it's not. They're going out.
I'm sure
something
I
like
can't say because I didn't
Avengers.
see the movie.
They're going to see it. Something like Blade Runner 2049, where people don't really know, and it's a shame because I think it is a very good movie, and they see the runtime. That in that instance, it can be a deterrent. It's like, I don't even know about this, and do I want to sit there for that long?
No.
But if the story,
I just feel like they're. Well, I forgot what I was going to say. It's just too much. It's too long. Get out of here. Make a story. I was going to say that so many movies in the beginning, like King Kong. Yeah, wasn't that with Jack Black? Was that King Kong?
I think there was I don't follow Jack Black's filmography.
I can't remember. It was directed by the guy that did Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson. And I thought, maybe this will be good because I think Peter Jackson's weird horror movie stuff was interesting, and I think he did a good job with Lord of the Rings visually and stuff. So I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And I think that movie is also really long, right?
It came out in 2005. Yes, Jack Black was in this one. It's 3 hours and 21 minutes long.
Woo! And then listen, if you watch the first 20 minutes of that movie, the pacing is so rushed. There's so much exposition that they have to get out. It's like cut, it made me uncomfortable. I had to stop watching.
That's interesting that even with that length, it still felt rushed. I feel as though the last Batman in the Nolan trilogy, while it was already over 2 hours, it seemed like it was supposed to be longer, and they cut it, and felt a bit clunky.
Is that the Bane one?
Yeah, because there were some points. It's like it feels as though there was more, and maybe it was never shot and it never existed, but it felt as though there's kind of a gap here, and
there were certainly gaps in logic with that movie that made me like, how did he? They're taking transatlantic flights to drop somebody in a hole.
Sure.
It takes, what I mean? And if they're not, are they flying commercially?
We don't know the geography of that world. We don't know really.
I know.
Was
it in a boat?
I know that's
so. If it was in a boat, did it take weeks to get there?
I know that's what people bring up, but the end felt rushed too with the timer. It's like, okay, you've got something that's drawn out. It's fucked up that we're reviewing this thing from years ago.
Well, we're talking about generally and what movies are doing.
The only point I was going to make with it was I think that Nolan earned the ability, and this is based on nothing. I don't know if this is real or not, but if there was a longer movie that was closer to 3 hours, you can argue all day long, should movies be 3 hours? But I think after his first two, he earned the right to make a longer film, and if someone told them not to, that's kind of ridiculous because people would have gone to see it. After the first two, they would have sat there and watched a 3 hour movie.
But maybe he earned the right to do, or the sort of cred to do it. But did he do a good job with a 3 hour movie? It sounds like he didn't.
We don't know. I don't know if it even was real.
Well, because you were saying it was clunky.
Yeah, because it was cut. It felt like should have been longer than its already runtime of 2 hours and whatever minutes it was.
Yeah.
I said it was clunky because it felt like big parts were cut out in editing. Like, yeah, we got to shorten it. All right, just get rid of that whole thing.
But then that is a problem with the process itself. And I don't know where the problem would have been, whether it was in the direction, whether it was in like the writing, whether it was how it was filmed and like certain things couldn't be cut out because they refer to something else. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? There could be a billion reasons why. But doesn't that mean that you did a poor job?
Not necessarily.
I think all those things have to be put together so that things, you know, flow properly. And
I agree, but sometimes you got the studio people coming in on your shoulder and they're yelling stuff at you. Like, you do this, and you can't say no. People think it'd be great to be, you know, a studio director. No. For the most part, these Marvel films, directing one of those has got to be one of the worst experiences ever. I don't, you know, maybe some people do get the freedom to do what they want, but for the most part, there's such a committee involved because it's part of this huge machine, and it's not a creative endeavor necessarily. And there's the frustration that, you know, a lot of people express. Very few directors get to do exactly what they want. Nolan, I think, is at the point where he gets to do what he wants, and he's awful at sound mixing. I don't know what the fuck is up with that. In all these movies, like, there's dialogue lost because the sound mix is terrible.
Really?
It seems to be the thing. He likes it, yes. It happens in Interstellar constantly. Tenet I didn't see, but I was reading that.
I have to put the captions on for stuff.
Yeah, I was reading that it was the same thing happened.
Really?
Wes Anderson gets to do the films he wants to do.
But see, that's an artist.
There's a new one coming out. Very precious looking. I think working on a Wes Anderson film's got to be the most tedious, miserable task in the world.
Why? Because it's all stop animation.
No, because of that world that he creates. While it's aesthetically pleasing, and he works in symmetry, and there's a preciousness to it. You know, I've already told my theory about how people have watched those and decided that's the world they want to live in, and they move to neighborhoods and gentrify them and try to make them these little Wes Anderson enclaves. Right. Which, fuck you.
Look at me, I'm riding a bicycle.
But the reason,
quirky.
Well, not just riding a bicycle. It's a valid means of transportation.
No, I know, but people doing things like that and feeling like it's part of their personality, that they're so quirky. Aren't I so crazy? My God, I dip my chip like this. I'm crazy.
The reason I said that, though, is because I feel as though every shot is so composed that even a 5-second shot's like a one-day shoot on a Wes Anderson film. It's like, I don't know, thank you.
But again, that's art. Do you know what I mean? That's not shot for efficiency. You're creating something different that happens to be through the medium of movie. And I can respect that.
Yes, as
when
can
we're talking,
I.
What's that?
I said, as can I. I'm just saying that most people don't get the freedom to do what they want to do.
And honestly, I don't trust the general public.
Well, neither do studios. Like, that's why.
I know, because I mean, you know, people are in a theater like, what? Why are we just watching him walk? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't engage in a movie. They only want movies to be like you're talking about the Venom. Just fun. Just a fun time. Eat my popcorn. I killed 3 hours getting there. Got to eat candy. That's cool. I had a good time. Whee! You know, not like, wow, this movie made me think. This movie made me feel something.
Well, for a lot of people, I think these character studies we were talking about, like with Bond, that's a way that they do appreciate it, because they're not usually drawn to movies outside of, you know, these genres that present character studies or dive into motivations. And
see,
so they watch something like Bond, though, and then they leave and they feel as though they watched a deep film. Like, wow. That really got me thinking. Logan, for example, though I feel as though Logan was very moving, and, you know, it stuck with me for days.
Well, and you love the dude.
Hugh Jackman, yes.
Hugh.
I do love Hugh.
He's your buff round.
What a man. What a sweet, sweet man.
Love him.
And talented across the board. He's a song and dance man. He's a movie man. Yep. Superhero.
Handsome as ever. Loyal.
Yeah. Great
loving.
Guy. He is.
Passionate.
Hug Jackman. I saw on a marquee once the H fell off and it said Hug Jackman.
And you said, okay. And you hugged it.
Anyway.
What I was saying, so people going to see the Bond movies and accidentally getting something from it, I guess, is a byproduct that is beneficial for someone, but I feel like that should happen in a different movie. The Bond movies are supposed to be like this. Superhero movies are supposed to be this. I don't want to watch Superman and like feel bad for Lex Luthor. Like, oh, he had a bad childhood. No, he just needs to be evil.
Well, they just want to show you
yay, he lost.
They want to show you the complexity of life.
But again, just like Joker, if they made a separate movie not connected to that universe, and it just happened to be this character named Lex Luthor, and that's my favorite in the first movie, Mr. Luthor, that guy. There's a lot of stuff about that movie that really stuck with me from my childhood, like those people in the those hula hoops at the beginning, the way that all of that looked. They're in that triangle, that glass triangle, the feeling of the world ending with on the other planet.
I feel like you're talking about a couple of them. The glass triangle that's
in Superman. That's in the very beginning.
You're not talking about when they trap Zod and his friends in there, are you?
Yeah, doesn't that happen at the beginning of the first Superman?
I don't know if that's when they trap them in. I've got Superman 2 when they get out.
Yeah, so they have to. So in Superman 1, they're like arrested or something, aren't they?
I can't recall.
But God, and just oh my God, and when what's her name was like getting buried in all that dirt, and how that
is that one?
That as a, yes.
When he reverses the time by flying around the Earth.
He flies to space and he spins it the other direction.
That's 1?
Yeah.
Sure that's not 4 with Nuclear Man?
Absolutely sure. And I thought it was so hot when he had that what is it called? Kryptonite around his neck, that necklace. And then he was like in the water, and that the lady henchman, whatever, like girlfriend of Lex Luthor, like helps him out. I just thought it was really sexy for some reason as a kid. You know, like weird things are like, oh wow, sexy hot. When you're little, you don't know why.
So why did you bring up the Superman?
Just because for some reason there's so much of that movie that really stuck with me. There's like almost like a sense memory of it. Like a smell in a house can remind you and like bring flood back memories. There's something about that. I must have watched it at like a very pivotal moment in like my brain turning on, you know?
Yeah, I wonder what the draw was. Maybe it was one of the first films you saw that was complex to you. You're like, oh, wow, I'm understanding something that seems very adult.
It could be, yeah.
You talking about sensory, since this is supposed to be free for fall and not just movie talk. You brought up, how smells can take you back to certain points in time. And yesterday I went out down a cologne rabbit hole. I was really I've never really worn cologne outside of, I think 7th, 8th grade, maybe 9th grade, and I got out of it pretty quickly. But there was a period of time when it was all the rage, and I was a Polo Sport guy.
I was just going to say Polo Sport. Every kid wore Polo
Sport. Or Cool Water, or Drakkar Noir.
Or Abercrombie's.
No, get out of here. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know people would, but I would never go near that. But I was, I was looking up Polo Sport, and part of me does want to buy some, though it's been reformulated. I guess like Cosmere was a company that made the version that was from the 90s, and now some other company does it. And there's also something like Oak Moss or something that they can't include in scents anymore. So it's changed a bit. But I wanted to get it because I am sure smelling that would whisk me immediately back. Not that I necessarily feel a need to visit those times, but it would be interesting to smell that and be like, oh yeah, that time of my life.
Yeah, I could go through that. Like I would feel that if I smelled what kids smelled like in middle school.
And we were probably loading it on.
Yeah. Well, and we were coming up when Axe started. Remember, people were really spraying Axe all over themselves. And remember, it was like was it the commercials? Like the normal dude, and then he sprays it, and then he has like abs.
I mean, it sounds familiar, but it's so ridiculous that even if it never existed, to me, it would like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not as classy, the body spray. It was scents for the masses. I would used to go around to the different department stores in the mall and ask for samples and leave with just shitloads of vials. You go to the Riches and the Macy's and the Mervyn's and the Parisian.
They gave you little vials, those little bitty things.
If they not all the time, but sometimes, okay, you have any samples? And they would give you little vials.
I should do that.
And that's where I decided on Polo Sport. It's like this is it. This is my stench.
Why did that appeal to every 8th grader?
Well, it's also how do things get going and become popular at that time without the internet? It still spread somehow. Looney Tunes T-shirts and Nautica shirts, all was born out of hip hop at the time. But why did it spread? Braided belts, hanging it down in between your legs like you have a long wang.
I never knew about those braided belts. Like I was not aware of that was happening.
Yeah, it was a big thing. This is, where did this come from? But it was widespread. So Polo Sport got lumped in, Drakkar Noir. That when it comes in this black matte bottle. It's very appealing. But that one was not
What's Drakkar mean?
Fresh enough for me. I don't know what it means. You can look it up if you like. I can tell you what Drakkar Noir smells like. It has top notes of bergamot and rosemary and lavender, and middle notes of cardamom and geranium, and a dry down of vetiver and cedar and fir balsam.
I don't know what this means.
This business, like you think about these things existing, but there are, people who are good at making perfumes. Mm-hmm. Perfumers. I guess that's what they are called, right? Perfumers?
Are they probably like perfumeries?
But they spent a lot of time in this and coming up with these different concoctions, and the fact that they're like, I knew nothing about this, but there are high notes and the mid notes and the bass, and when you spray it for the first couple hours, it has a different smell, and then when it settles on your skin, that's when another smell comes out. And these are all
like it warms up.
Yeah, no fucking clue that you could get, talking about going deep. I lived in the superficial venom world of cologne wearing.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to understand the motivations behind the scent, the fragrance. And then I watched videos, and sometimes even these days when they make new ones, people come in and like, I need something that relays despair. and then that's all the perfumer has to go on. And then they have to come up with a stench that goes along with it. But part of me, I still have zero desire to wear cologne.
Why is it sometimes called eau de toilette?
It's just the French term for whatever that stands for.
Why? Toilet.
It's not toilet.
Not?
It's in French. It means something else. Do a quick translation.
Eau de toilette.
And that's the joke that everyone makes. Like,
no, but I thought, I really know.
It looks like toilet.
Water of the toilet, and refers to a scented water used to perfume the body and hair. Eau de toilette is, like all fragrances, a mixture of intensely scented oils, alcohol, and a small amount of water.
Who knows what toilet?
And eau de parfum.
Yeah, toilet is the process of washing oneself, dressing, and attending to one's appearance. So there you go. That's the word toilet.
Eau de toilette.
Are you into cologne? Someone wearing a scent?
Only if I like it. I mean, sometimes people have they're wearing something and it's not. It bothers me. But I can always tell, like, they always smell the same, and so you smell that on you later. Like if you hug them goodbye or something, like I'll smell like my friend, and it's like, oh, it's kind of cute.
Yeah, and that's nice. But everyone has their own.
I'm talking about a woman though, but I mean, I guess if I liked a guy and he wore cologne, and I probably would only, I would just associate it with him that I liked. Do you know what I mean? Not necessarily that I liked the smell. It would just be an association.
I'm thinking of the one person that we know. We haven't talked to in a very long time, but there was a specific scent about him because he always wore the same thing. And it is funny how it's like you associate. Someone settles on a scent. Mm-hmm. Like, this is it. This is what I'm doing. And
I tried to move away from mine. and I don't use it as much because it's different. It's not mine. It's not mine yet. I don't associate it with me yet.
What do you mean? A new?
Like I have a perfume that I've used forever, and I tried to go to a different perfume. And sometimes I wear it and I think, who's this?
What made you want to switch?
I felt like the other scent was a little juvenile, which is fine, but there was just something about it being like a younger scent. And I thought it would be interesting to have a more, I don't know, like a more mature scent.
I mean, that's the thing. I was watching some of these reviews on the different colognes, and I'm sure that this is out there for perfumes also. But yeah, there's age ranges. This is a good one for people under 30. I wouldn't wear it if I were over 30 years old. It's like, why? Why are you drawing this distinction? It is.
I mean, you should. If you like the way it smells, you should wear it.
Yeah, but you just said that you had something that smelled childish. So
well, not childish, just youthful, which is good. But I don't know. I just wanted to see if I could switch, and I can, but I still tend to gravitate towards the one that I just fell in love with. You know, that I look as my own.
You should just continue to wear that one.
Yeah, I should.
And I'll settle back into Polo Sport.
Oh man, get some Polo Sport. Get that suit. You're starting to wear suits.
That's what I was going to say. I need to class it up because I'm trying to up my wardrobe, and I mean, I have a custom suit on the way. I went and got fitted for it. It's being cut just for me.
I didn't know you did that.
And then I ordered another one that fits pretty well, but needs to be tailored. So it's off right now. The pants are being tailored. I'm putting in time and money and effort.
How long are you gonna? Like, when are you gonna wear it?
I don't know. Am I really going to start wearing a suit every single day? Probably not. But I think going out and doing things and getting dressed up for them, maybe I'll start going to theater more often.
The theater?
Because I can get into the idea of having suits to wear. I guess it doesn't make sense. We're working from home for the most part, and getting.
Well, that's the thing. Like working from home, and I've worked from home since forever. I still get dressed every day.
Well, yes, getting dressed is important.
But people don't do it. Like everyone talked about during the pandemic, like, oh, I haven't put on jeans in months.
That's depressing. I still get dressed if I, even when I join the radio show and if my segment's at 10 o'clock, I've done it a few times when I haven't gotten dressed yet. And it feels wrong. I feel like I wasn't on top of my game. And as soon as I do get dressed, even if it's a simple act of changing a shirt and putting on pants and socks, it's like, oh, I feel much better. But, I was looking at these old pictures of New York. There's an Instagram. I know. I was looking at Instagram, whatever.
What? What's wrong with that?
Well, I always rail against
judging
social media. But there's an account that is like, New York before and after. And they find the spot. A picture from a long time ago, they find the same spot. And there was something like this in Atlanta, the Atlanta Time Machine, a long time ago. This was the first instance of this kind of thing. And I'm sure it had popped up in other cities, but, like 2004, I came across Atlanta Time Machine. 2005, I thought it was really cool. Someone was documenting Atlanta and how it changed over the years. And a lot of the times you see how it's kind of sad. Like, oh, downtown used to be vibrant. And there was a bunch of neon signs and activity and life and older buildings. And then they show you the now. It's like, oh, just these skyscrapers that are set back. They're not even on the street. They're set back and unapproachable with no retail space. And it's very uninviting.
Oof, downtown Atlanta blows.
It is. It's a shame. But that was, it was cool to see how Atlanta used to look. But with New York, I was looking at this and pictures from the 40s and the way people dressed. And, cutting from that image to the present day, it was these women with these cutoff shorts and their asses hanging out and dudes with fucking flip-flops. And I don't know. I know that that's just the way things are now, and it's not that big of a deal, and I don't necessarily have too many thoughts about it, but there's something that, outside of just being romantic, feels nice about putting in some work and effort into your wardrobe. The thing is, if I'm going around dressed like I'm in the 40s with a suit and a fucking hat, I'm not getting a hat. But if I did that, people are like, what the fuck's up with you, dude?
Yeah, well, because then at that point it's like a costume.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be a costume. So I think it's finding that where it fits, what the balance is. I don't know yet.
I think it's important to. I think that's part of growing. You know, as people get older, they tend to just settle into whatever is happening to them. Like they just stop growing, and I think. I mean, listen, what do I know? I'm 39. I'm not 70 something. But it just does feel like people who continue to grow live longer and are active for longer, which helps you mentally, you know, whereas some people just like, stop. Like stop caring. And it happens, I think, in stages when you're an adult and you see those moms, you know, who are like, in their active wear with their hair up in a ponytail and not wearing makeup. And I'm not saying that they have to like look, I'm not saying they have to wear makeup, but it just seems like, you know, take care of yourself, put yourself together, look okay. If you don't want to wear makeup, that's fine. I don't mean that, but it's, you know,
well, to do it for
it's
yourself.
Okay to look slummy if you need to, but just not all the time. That shouldn't be what your default is.
Well, that's what we've settled into. If it's comfortable and if you want to do it, what do I really care? But for me, at this stage of my life, you know, as I approach 40, I'm not worried about it. I fucking was freaking out about 30. But I also felt as though I didn't have a very good idea of who I was, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing in my life, and I was trying to transition out of radio, and everything seemed to be up in the air. And you know, I think I had expectations on where my life was going to be when I was 30, and it wasn't matching, and that threw me off. And as 40 comes, I haven't set any expectations. I've just been, you know, putting in work over the years, and was on a path, I guess, to get somewhere, but it was never set where that was. It was just an idea. It's like, I just want to continue to understand myself better and be more comfortable with who I am. And I think
that's good. I think that's important.
But I think at 40, it's like most people at 40, I don't want to say it's complete regret and resentment, but there are varying levels, I think, where a lot of people, that is a big point to reassess and like, what the fuck have I done? So maybe it's like 30 for me was that for some reason, but you know, me not being locked into a marriage or having kids or anything like that, like I'm actually very grateful for it moving into 40 because now that I have a clearer picture of myself and where I want to go, it's like there's really nothing tying me down because I didn't make these decisions, and maybe, you know, the reasons I didn't do it were tied to maybe not negative things, but things that I needed to work on with myself. So, you know,
and if you did have those other things like a marriage and a family, it would be difficult to focus on those things.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's set up good right now. And one of the things it's just the thing that I'm feeling and that I want to do is maybe dress a little nicer.
Yeah, you should then. Because
it feels like I am a person who would like to do that. Not because I feel a need to do it, like I should do it. You know, even as far as my clothes have evolved over the years, it's like I stopped wearing shorts. So I don't regret that. I still think that I stand by that decision. I think shorts are disgusting and most people shouldn't be wearing shorts. They're trashy.
Why? No, shorts are not disgusting.
They're trashy. Shorts are trashy.
Shorts are trashy.
Slacks, pants. You know, and then I gravitated towards black and dark gray pants. And that's kind of been my thing. And t-shirts in the summer, in the warmer months. No graphic tees. I cut graphic tees out years ago.
Yeah.
For the most part, solid tees, sometimes stripes. That's it. No graphics.
I made the decision in high school not to wear logos.
Well, that's also, yes, logos I don't want to wear either. But
well, you remember it was such a thing, like people having like Aeropostale.
Yeah, I mean that's how they got kids.
That big stitch.
They really fooled. I mean, it was a status thing. Look at this. I got my Abercrombie. Yeah, good for you. I'm with you. Like I went through the label phase for a bit in late middle school and early high school, and I moved out of that. And I liked thrift store clothes, but I was talking about like graphic tees, which I still think are cool. You can find things that don't even make
Yeah.
sense, like some old plumbing company's t-shirt.
See, I love that too.
But I got too old for that. I still am fine with that and people who do that. But it's like, at 35, maybe even before that, 33, it's like, come on, no more of that for me. It's like, look, I'm wearing this cool shirt that I've... No, I'm done. It's just straight up solid t-shirts. No logos, no graphics. Look at this NASA. Like, that's the worst, too, is when it's not an original. At least when you go to the thrift store, it's something that was real, probably. But the fact that Urban Outfitters started wearing or selling fucking NASA t-shirts and everyone had the old NASA logo on it, on their chests. Get the fuck out of here.
That's at Target too.
It's it's how far it's gone. It's now at Target. So, the thrifting vintage tee has become mainstream, and now it's played out. I'm sure it's moved past that.
Yeah, there's a lot of clothing. There's a lot of shirts and stuff that look vintage and feel vintage, like feel soft, like worn, but they're brand new. It's like a Rolling Stones shirt that is all messed up looking, but it's brand new.
Yeah. No, thank you. So I think the next step, though, is cardigans galore. Nonstop cardigans.
Cardigans.
With elbow patches. Maybe I'll get into sports coats. I'll wear a jacket, but with not a suit. So not a suit jacket, but something, a sports coat, a little more casual.
Okay.
As I age and dress as people in their 40s dress.
Good for you. See, I'm moving more into like updating my style and trying to marry what's happening trend-wise with what I have and not going overboard.
What is this going to look like?
Trying to dress too young and looking stupid.
Are you trying to dress younger?
Yeah, just like realizing that, things have shifted a little bit as far as like what you're wearing or what people are wearing. And I'm trying to dip my toe into that.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily younger. If you're trying to get with the trends, don't go with like the 20-year-old trends though.
Oh, yeah, I guess I don't mean younger, but what I guess I mean is just more trendy, like keeping up.
What is trendy now in the world of women's fashion?
Not skinny jeans. Tucking your shirt in, showing off your fupa.
Oh yeah, the big stiff Levi's jeans.
Well, they don't have to be stiff, but they're just not tight. They could be like straight legged.
I still think a tapered fit is a nice look. Super skinny jeans, nah. But I still think fitting jeans. I don't want baggy shit.
Oh yeah. Well, it wouldn't be baggy.
I'm not saying for you as a woman.
Yeah, it would just on your legs. It would be more baggy, I guess.
I was saying for me, thinking of.
Oh yeah.
Fashion.
Oh my God. Like the dude '90s jean versus the women's '90s jean. The dude '90s jean with the belt. Ew, and then like bunched up around the calves and around the ankles, and just wearing like white newbies or something.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good stuff.
No, it's really bad. Cell phone holster.
So what else? What else as you're shifting? It's wardrobe. You're dressing to impress.
I mean, not trying to impress, just trying to update, again, just like you, just trying to continue to grow and don't just stick to what I've always done.
So does that mean cute Japanese characters are out?
I haven't done that in forever. What are you talking about?
I got you that as a gift once too. There's a Japanese cactus or something with a face on it. It was like a sweatshirt.
I love that though.
Yeah, so I'm asking if that kind of stuff's out.
No. That's not out.
Okay, that's still in.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just like wearing a shirt that hides something that maybe I'm uncomfortable with. Now that's reading, oh, you're hiding something that you're uncomfortable with, instead of people not noticing at all because you're hiding it. because now the whole sort of movement is to like show it off. If you got that fupa in your jeans, like tuck the top of your shirt in and let it out. Like, don't hide it, because now that looks more pathetic. Whereas previously it was like, hide that, or if you're trying to show it off, like, you're pathetic.
I hear you. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But it's hard. It's a hard transition to make. So hard to get dressed.
You're in a transitory state.
And like I said before, I'm like making stuff. I'm shelling walnuts all day, every day. I collect all these walnuts. Did I tell you about that?
Yeah, and it's a lot of work to get a little bit of meat, nut
it's
meat.
It's a lot of meat. I've been getting better at cracking them and getting all the stuff out.
Getting the nut meat out.
Yeah, get that meat, that oily meat.
Well, whoever you are, just let that out.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Let it be.
Yeah.
And I think you'll be fine. But don't force anything.
No, I'm not.
Whatever that means. I don't know. That's my advice.
Yeah. Just listening to myself.
There were many topics in today's show, which I know it was the free for fall.
Yeah.
But it feels though any one of these topics actually could have been a whole episode. So it's kind of a waste.
The movies thing was good. We did not talk at all about the end of days.
No, the end of days didn't come up. I don't know why you wanted to talk about.
I'm thinking about it.
What are you thinking
I do
about?
want to talk about it with you, but I don't want to do it now because
okay, what are you thinking about?
Well, I'm thinking about how.
When you say the end of days, what do you mean?
Like the end of the start, or maybe we're in the middle of like the downfall of the United States.
Sure.
And I wonder what that type of thing that's happened before historically, what that felt like to the people in it. Not the people in power, but the people day to day. What was their life like and how was it changing?
Well, none of these things.
And how do you know when it happened?
That's the thing. None of these things happen immediately. And it's a transition over time. I guess it is interesting to think about, what it felt like the fall of the Roman Empire. It was so vast and widespread, and means of communication was not instant. So how aware were people even? Like, if you were under Roman rule, but you lived out in the middle of nowhere, for the most part, you probably were left alone. People.
Right. The different, whatever is happening up in some castle really makes no difference to your daily life.
But these days, since it's all highly publicized and we're in the middle of it, but the same thing. I don't know. The United States isn't that old, really. 250 years old. Maybe it all does fall apart. It's certainly a thing that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But.
So I'm just wondering, are we in it? And we just don't know it.
Possibly. I think that's the best you can answer it.
Okay.
If you want to save that, it can be the pre-show discussion. I don't know if I have enough. It's nothing on the topic itself. I just don't know if I know enough or have enough knowledge.
It really was just a question that I was thinking about. Like a concept. One question with Autumn Fisher.
Your new podcast where you pose a question and that's it.
What do elephants think about?
And then people call in and record, and then you take those and you make the podcast with their answers.
Do cows have feelings? All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you liked our free for fall. Is this our third free for fall?
It's the third.
It's the third? That's exciting. Hope you liked it. Free for fall is fun. And please support our sponsor, hopandpepper.com. You can get 15% off if you use the code OneTopic15 at hopandpepper.com. So do that. Thank you. Love you. And have a good week. Bye.